Hey, everybody, and welcome in. It's the Poor Man Fantasy Football League podcast. We're the fantasy football show that gives you a peek inside the life and times of our Dynasty League. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is my friend Andrew. Andrew, it's the first week, quote unquote, of free agency. We started on Wednesday, yesterday, but it's really kicked off on Monday. We're recording this on Thursday, March 14th. A little day late, got a little sidetracked, but here we are. Andrew, how you doing?
Good. The free agency is crazy. I don't think I've ever seen it that busy, but
No, it
no,
was incredible. It kicked off
yeah,
like with a flourish on Monday.
exactly. And how about yourself? How are you?
Good. I attended a hockey game last night, which is why we couldn't record last night.
Yeah.
The Edmonton Oilers beat the Washington Capitals 7-2. I got to watch Alexander Ovechkin on the ice, standing every shift, not skating, not moving the puck, just standing there, just trying to chase down Wayne Gretzky's titles and achievements, and every time
Yeah,
he touched the puck, the Oilers were on him. They
yeah.
Skinner did not let a goal in from him and just shut him down. There was even at one point a chant that you can't catch Gretzky. So it's good to see the fans out
Nice.
in force to shut that down.
I watched the first period, and what was it? It was like 18 minutes into the first period was when Skinner made his first save, and it was that sprawling dive to rob Ovechkin of the wide
Yep.
open net. So I imagine
Yeah, it
the
was
crowd
great.
was just going nuts.
Yeah, the crowd was nuts last night. That Connor Brown, when he scored, the place like erupted. They gave Zach Hyman a hat trick. He only had 2 goals near the end of the third period, but they had apparently changed a goal assigned to another player from earlier on to him, and they announced his hat trick, and then the game shut down again. Everyone threw their stuff on the ice. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, that was the goal there right, I think at the end of the first period where he jumped up and it went off his leg. I think that was the third goal.
Okay. Yeah, I did not see.
And you had a bunch of
Um,
excitement at work today.
it was a bit chaotic. It was a bit chaotic.
Yes, I
Um,
heard.
there was a large union about to go on strike. Then they postponed the strike till tomorrow because they started negotiating again. Then apparently they have a deal in principle to cover the last 3 years, and then with the promise of negotiating the next contract. So good for them. Hopefully it's good for the people.
Oh,
Hopefully it makes sense. I really don't have faith in the employer in bargaining in good faith. I don't. I think I think they're just going to get what they can get, and they'll bowl over the unintelligent bargaining crew from the union side because I really don't know how smart they are. Based upon what I've been told of the deal so far, it sounds like everything they were fighting for, they didn't get, but they got something. But it sounds like that what they gave up. It's like, hey, I have this 1 pound chunk of silver. To get it though, you must give me 300 pounds of copper. Oh, okay, cool. Silver's better than copper. You can have it. It's like, yeah, but that 300 pounds of copper is worth of 300 pounds of silver, or like is it wasn't a fair trade. So I'm curious to see the exact details and if it was just rumor or speculation. But negotiations, it is what it is.
no,
You didn't like that?
it it is. I mean, both sides had to give up some stuff, but also think that you know, from a citizen on the outside looking in, and you know what, I watched a newscast earlier today, and one citizen put it really eloquently.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm working at a job making barely $20 an hour. and these people are all making a heck of a lot more than I am, so they can stop complaining and get back to work.
That's not completely accurate.
It from public perception,
and that's the fun part about this, is that the city has done a great job of feeding information to the media, where the union has done nothing. They have done a terrible job trying to convey their position. So you know how you can take numbers and make them, particularly in, say, in fantasy football, you're now taking data and information and you're positioning it in a way to make it look like you want to fit a narrative, if you will, of how you think and feel.
Yeah.
So if you look at the numbers the employer has put out, the numbers look like, hey, these guys get paid a lot. It's like, nah, that's actually not as accurate. There's a small group of people at the top of this union group that get paid a lot, and there's a large group of people that get paid a whole lot less, around the $20 to $25 range. But if you take the average and saying, hey, there's like 6 different pay groups, average them out, they get upwards of this, but it's not a direct relation of how people get paid and earned. So True. It's an unfortunate part. Public perception's not, and I get it. They're not going to be supportive of shutting down city services and facilities and things like that. It's not going to go well. But
yeah,
it impacts me because I'm also a unionized member of a different union, but I'm 9th on the list in the negotiation process. So whatever happens to these other groups eventually trickles down to us, and we kind of get to pick whatever's left over. And we're like, yeah, okay, we saw what you did to everybody else. We'll just take the same.
I guess in the long run, better something than nothing, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah. Sure, but I'm not involved in the unionized process, the negotiation process. I only hear what I'm told, which, take with a grain of salt, because if you're not there firsthand processing the information, it might not be true. So in this particular case, I have been informed from people on both sides, both the management side and the union side, that the negotiation process is out of date and archaic. That the issues and matters that they negotiate on are trivial, and everyone goes to the table. And this is the analogy that the one representative who's going to be negotiating next for the next union said that everybody comes to the table, we beat the crap out of one another, pick up what falls out of our pockets, and think we get a win. That doesn't sound very good. Why would you do that? Like, why don't you go to the table and find out what the city has? Like, what do they need? Like, what do they want out of this deal? Obviously, they want like nothing, but they really there's stuff that they need. And then what do you guys want and deserve? And how can you push and pull to make this work? It's like, why do you got to go to the table, beat the crap out of one another, trying to knock something out of one another's pockets, and then pick it up and go home? It's like this. Yeah, I got something. It's like, yeah, but your nose is broken and you can't see out of your eyes, and you're forever gonna walk with a limp. Like that, you didn't get anything.
It's so that they can say they went to battle for their side.
Oh, it's so dumb. It's like
yes.
you could sit down and have a conversation saying, all right, well, here's where we need to be and here's why. How do we get there? And so what's in a possibility? Another piece of information that they shared was, imagine if you had 100 pieces of something, okay? And that's the representation of what you currently have. When you leave the negotiation table, you will always have 100 pieces of something. It will never increase. It will never grow. Nothing new will be added to the puzzle. All you're going to do is just shift around what pieces you have. So if you want to increase your wage, no problem. We're just going to decrease the vacation days or these benefits. It's like, so you're not actually getting anything. You're just shuffling things around. Well, that's not negotiating. That's not improving upon. That's not growing. That's just changing the shape of what you've got.
Yeah.
And if that's true, it's really sad.
It's robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah. And if that's the case, then shame on the negotiators, because they're just dumb. If that's how it works, it's like you're really just negotiating to change the shape of what you have, and you're going to walk away with a win after you gotten beaten up over it. It's like, if you can't grow or expand the pie to make it something more invaluable for everybody, then why are you doing it?
Oh, I agree.
Anyways, this is a show about our fantasy football league, which it's nice to see some of the guys finally return back to the league from their little hiatus. Welcome back, Donnie,
Yes.
Josh. Who else do we see? We saw
Juan came back, started to communicate again. Pretty much
briefly, yeah,
everybody.
briefly,
Everybody pretty much has come back.
except for our two long distance players, the guys that rarely come on the show. They're just busy dudes.
Yes.
Hopefully, we can get some activity from them so we can initiate some trades.
True.
Yeah.
I got funny enough that you talk about trade. Somebody offered me a trade that I thought was a little one-sided, but
in your favor or theirs?
In theirs.
Okay.
Let me see if I can bring it up here. Where is my sleeper? There's sleeper right there. Go to poor man here. Trades. Will it still show me my trades that I know?
If you rejected it, then it should.
I did, but my trades are showing blank. No active trades.
If you go to your DMs from that person, you should be able to see them.
Oh, yes. Direct message.
I'll use this time to.
He wanted. I think he knows just how much love I have for Odell Beckham Jr.
Oh, geez, the homeless Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes, he was going to offer Odell Beckham Jr. and Gibson for Zach Moss.
Antonio Gibson?
Yes.
Okay.
Because Zach Moss is going to be the main guy running back in Cincinnati now.
With what he got paid, I would imagine so.
Yeah. Beckham doesn't have like you said, is homeless. And Antonio Gibson, where was he? In New England.
Yeah, he's going to be the backup to Ramondre.
Yeah, so he's not even like the main guy. I just thought, ooh. No, I didn't like that trade. But you know what? Hey, you got to throw stuff out there and see if it sticks, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's part of the offer.
Yeah, and it's early in the season for guys to start whipping around trades and trying to do stuff. That's why I said, it just on paper, and who knows, maybe Gibson will be the next greatest thing in New England. If they could figure out a quarterback situation. Yeah.
Okay.
Had to reject that one. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Okay, so here's what we're going to do tonight. We are going to break down the moves and transactions that have happened thus far in free agency. You and I talked a little bit last week about quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs. We didn't touch in tight ends. We'll do that briefly tonight because there has been a couple interesting moves. And we'll kind of see where we land on everything and how we did in our little predictions and see if our hopes and dreams were fulfilled.
Sure.
Before we do that, we're going to talk football news. This is the most interesting piece of news that I heard in the last week, and that is independent presidential candidate RFK Jr. has reached out to Aaron Rodgers and Jesse the Body Ventura to be his potential running mate as vice president.
Wow.
And this was reported in several news places. In this case, the article that I tagged, that I read in full, because I had to read this in full to see, like, is this just clickbait? This came from the New York Times. And RFK, Robert Kennedy Jr., is running for president as an independent. because he wasn't able to get in as the Democrat option that was going to go to Joe Biden. So he's running independently.
Yeah.
Now, Aaron Rodgers and people affiliated with him have not spoken or said anything as of yet. A family member to Jesse the Body Ventura has commented that he has not been formally asked. So I'm sure they just had conversations to kind of feel out the situation. Interestingly enough, and I don't know fully American politics, but don't they start campaigning this fall?
I do believe so. I do, or well, some of them are already like. You look at Trump.
Sure. I think
They've
they're
already
posturing a lot.
Yes, yeah. But I think you're right.
But I think the true campaign trail starts this fall, 2024.
Yeah, I think
which
it's
should be
like
conflict.
October or something like that.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers has got to throw the football for the New York Jets this fall.
Well, that's just it, right? That's just
it's
it.
like I don't think it's gonna
and Jesse Ventura, I think did he not have like a stroke or a heart attack or something like that in the last few years?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I think that's why he got out of being the
governor of Minnesota.
The governor of Minnesota. Yeah, it was because of his health. So I can't really see him running again. Who knows? If they're reaching out to those two, maybe Dwayne Johnson's next, because he has voiced in the past about getting into politics.
Sure,
but wow. Yeah, I saw the same thing. I didn't see Jesse Ventura, but I saw the Aaron Rodgers thing, and I just thought, you get all these conspiracy theory guys and stuff like that, and wow.
Okay. Whatever is ailing Jesse Ventura, apparently cannabis saved his life. That's really the biggest thing I can find related to his health. Is that he says cannabis saved his life.
Okay.
So, whatever. I just find it extremely interesting, that aspect of American politics.
Yeah,
I know it's boring. We'll move on to get back.
So they'll have a pothead as a vice president.
Sure, I can see that happening. Okay, wow. So first things first, we're going to talk about our friends over at the quarterback waiver free agency room, right? They're just hanging out there waiting for the phone calls. These are the guys
there was plenty of
them. There's plenty of them. So things that I want to talk about first. Let's talk about all the trades that happened for quarterbacks. Mac Jones was traded to Jacksonville, which I found surprising because I honestly thought a team would have tried to acquire him to see if he could try to be a starting quarterback, but I think the world has decided he's not. He's a backup. So he's going to go sit behind Trevor Lawrence. Awesome. And then today, Sam Howell was traded from Washington to Seattle.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one. That's new.
Yeah,
okay.
Like it literally happened today. Like I'm just scamming through the news before we get a chance to sit down, and boom, done. I'm like, you know what? That is absolutely fantastic. I am super happy for Sam Howell. I wanted him to be a thing. It did not work out in Washington, but now he has a chance to go and sit behind Geno Smith. And Geno Smith is only on his last year of his deal. So there's a chance that Sam Howell could be something.
Does he sit behind Geno Smith? Or does he steal it away from Geno Smith?
No, I don't think he's.
I think it's going to be tight.
If Geno Smith has a bad year or off to a bad start, maybe you see them sub in Sam Howell. But to me, that's more of an insurance policy. As opposed to,
I think Sam Howell did pretty good with a not so good team.
Okay, he threw the ball a lot.
Yes, because he had to. But now look at him with the wide receivers there in Seattle. He could ball out.
Could. Yeah, I think he has. I think this is a better wide receiver room with Tyler Lockett, JSN, and DK Metcalf versus Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's great.
Yeah, great for him. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's start from the top. The quarterbacks that have signed that we know. Kirk Cousins signed in Atlanta. $180 million. This guy has officially made $334 million fully guaranteed over his lifetime contracts. Great for him.
No. No.
No, you don't like this deal?
No. I think it's garbage. He is not worth
Tell
it.
me.
He is not worth it. He had one half of a good season, and that's it.
Well, when? Like last year?
No, like in Philadelphia. He had half.
Kirk Cousins, right?
Or
Minnesota quarterback?
Yeah, sorry, Minnesota quarterback. Yes. He's had. No, I don't like the deal. I don't like the deal. I don't like him as a quarterback. Well,
Okay.
I'm sorry, but like I picked him out as a backup last week when we were talking, and I wasn't even a big fan of him being a backup somewhere. But for him to get $180 million for 4 years,
that's the massive disconnect between you and the general football public. Is he was going to be the hottest commodity on free agency? You didn't think so. You thought he was going to end up as a backup somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the football world thought, oh no, he's going to get a deal somewhere. He did. He got his deal with Atlanta, big money. You
better
don't think
ball out.
Oh, they traded Desmond Ridder.
Yes, I heard about that one.
Trade I completely forgot. They traded Desmond Ridder to Arizona. I completely forgot.
I heard about that one. Yeah, but that basically solidifies his.
He's the dude.
Yes. So you better put up or shut up in Atlanta.
Because I think he's going to be just fine in Atlanta. He's been an above average quarterback. He's not a top tier. He's not a league winning.
What did Minnesota win?
Nothing.
What did Minnesota exactly?
But
exactly.
That's why he's an above average quarterback. They won divisions and they were competitive, and he was great for fantasy. I could care less for real football. But from a fantasy standpoint, like because we're talking about real football, he's a Sparty and he played for the Vikings. Like there's nothing to love here.
Yes.
So at this point, okay, you're going to Atlanta. I think there's a big boost to Drake London, to Darnell Mooney, who signed there, which I think is great. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Kyle Pitts, and they also just traded for. Oh dang! They just traded for another wide receiver from somewhere. Oh, Rondell Moore. That's what they got. They got Rondell Moore in exchange for Desmond Ridder.
Yeah,
awesome. So this is a team that, to me, is making moves to try and make a comeback, to try and take that division.
Sure.
And I think Kirk Cousins, as long as he can plant and throw a football after his Achilles tear, this is going to be great.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Right. Time will tell.
We'll see. Yeah, I do find your take extremely spicy, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Next on my list, Russell Wilson. Love this deal.
So do I.
Pittsburgh Steelers get Russell Wilson for 1 year. It's going to cost them $1 million. And the reason being is the Broncos are picking up $38 million of his contract.
Yes.
It's like, that's so awesome. Why wouldn't somebody sign Russell Wilson for that?
You know what? This whole scenario, and I know you're not a baseball fan,
okay.
but the movie Moneyball.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a scene in the movie where the GM is talking to David Justice.
Yep.
And David Justice is like, you know what? I am elite on your team. I am the greatest thing on your team. I deserve better treatment than everybody else on the team. And the GM goes, really? Why do you think that? And David Justice says, I'm your $7 million guy. He goes, no, you're not. The Yankees are paying half of that money. So the Yankees think so much of you, they're paying us to put you on the field to play against them. That's how much they feel they what they think you're worth.
Think of you.
Yeah. You have no worth to them. They're going to pay us for us to play against you.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Pittsburgh but the Steelers just did. Yes.
Yeah, they just picked up a guy who's probably going to be played better than Kenny Pickett.
He is.
For less than what they're paying Kenny Pickett.
And you know what? I think this would be the ultimate slap in the face to everybody, this guy goes out and wins the MVP next year.
Oh man,
I can't see it happen. I can't see it happen.
Ego would
but
explode.
No kidding. But they win the division. They go on to the Super Bowl, and he takes the MVP. That would be the ultimate slap in the face back to the Broncos and Seahawks, both teams who dumped him. That would be ironic.
Yeah, that would be good. Ironic comedy.
Yes,
if that were to happen.
Yeah.
All right. Next quarterback, Baker Mayfield. 3 years, $115 million. Like the deal. Good for them. Good for him. It's not breaking the bank.
No, but I still think it's too much money. I think it's too much money for him yet.
Okay. Do you know what that works out to?
Like 33, 35 million, 36 million a year.
Why is he not on my list? Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold. Oh, for some reason he's not showing on my list. That's okay.
It was 115 for 3 years, so roughly 30.
Yeah, and not all of it's guaranteed. So
true.
So he's getting the average for a quarterback. He's not getting paid above or anything. He's getting paid average. So good for him. What else we got? Gardner Minshew. To me, this is a deal that puts him into competition for the starting role, if not the starter.
Yes. I don't hate the deal. I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Okay, what don't you like about it?
Just because he could be a $25 million backup. That just seems a lot for a backup.
Oh, not when we get into some of these other players. So he's $25 million over.
Some of these contracts were crazy, and I don't understand them. But
so the quarterback minimum for a backup quarterback is around $10 million.
Okay,
he's getting paid 12.5.
Oh, and the fact that it's a 2-year deal. 2-year deal, $25 million. Yeah, 12.
Yeah.
12. Okay. So
2 years. He's getting paid 12.5 a year, over 2 years. The only guaranteed money is $15 million over those 2 years. But he got $15 million at signing.
Okay.
So the moment he signed, he got paid $15 million, and now everything between now and
$5 million a year, basically.
No, he got paid 7 point. He got $15 million to play for the next 2 years. Everything else is an incentive.
Okay.
So he's now going to compete with Aiden O'Connell for the starting job, unless they somehow magically draft somebody. But I think he did great for what happened in Indianapolis. I think he did great for them to prove that he's a top tier backup.
Yeah. I don't think he can last a whole year.
Yeah, he's a great backup. Like, you could win games with Gardner Minshew. I don't think he's a full-time starter.
Yeah. I agree with that. And that's why I say, like, I like it, but I don't like it. But
yeah, because my guess was he was going to get a backup deal in New Orleans or somewhere like that to try and push for a starting job. This is a better situation. I think he has a higher chance of being a starter in Las Vegas than he does in New Orleans. So
yeah, and even like when I said, re-sign with Indy, this is a better deal than he would have got with Indy. Irsay wouldn't have paid him this much money.
No. Although, let's talk about that, because they went out and signed old man Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Do you know what they what they paid him?
No.
League minimum.
Oh. Well, but of course, right? Like, it's a situation where the guy is 1,000,000 years old.
Yep. Falls asleep on the bench. Has an entirely different play style from their rookie quarterback, Anthony Richardson, who's going to come back. It's like those two do not play the same.
Exactly. So if Anthony Richardson goes down again, the rest of the offense has got to learn how to play with Flacco.
Yeah.
So that one I really don't like. I mean, I like the deal for Indy. They're getting somebody for dirt cheap, but
it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Let me rifle off the last little bit here. Sam Darnold went to Minnesota on a 1-year, $10 million deal. That just tells me that he's not the starter there. It's 1 year. They're going to get somebody else. They're going to do something, right? Otherwise, that's just an embarrassing decision that they're going to keep Sam Darnold as their starter.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Jacoby Brissett signed in New England on a 1 year, $8 million deal.
So is he going to fight for the starter?
Well, no, he's going to be their insurance backup because that just tells me that they're drafting somebody with the 3 pick.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett has enough talent to be a starter, kind of like a Gardner Minshew. Like he's a high quality backup.
Yeah. So he could start the first half. He can start the first half and then let the rookie come in and take over in the second half.
Correct.
That's kind of Minnesota's or New England's MO.
Sure. Yeah, let somebody start and let's work our guy in because projected they're going to take Jaden Daniels, more of a mobile running quarterback. Great. Let it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, next on my list I got is Marcus Mariota signed in Washington for 1 year. Okay. You just shipped off Sam Howell, so
yeah,
he's officially your backup. You got to be doing something. At the 2 picks, you're probably taking Drake May. You're taking a quarterback. That's what I'm hearing. Mitch Trubisky signed a 2-year backup deal in Buffalo for $5.2 million, so he's getting 2 point something a year.
Yeah.
Drew Lock signed 1 year with the New York Giants with the endorsement from his former head coach in Seattle that he can compete for the starting job against Daniel Jones. I'm not sure that was so much of an endorsement as so much of a diss,
an insult
to Daniel Jones.
Well, insult to both. Hey, you can compete with Daniel Jones
For a starting
Daniel
job.
who? Daniel who? That chump? I can't beat out Jones. Danny Dimes who fumbles on the 1 yard line?
Sure, that's the guy. Good stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing like mentally preparing these guys for what's to come.
Yeah.
All right, next up we got Jameis Winston. He signs a 1 year deal with Cleveland, $4 million as a backup. That's great. You got 2 of the most disruptive QBs from legal standpoints on the same team.
Yeah, get it all done and in Cleveland of no other of all places.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. Okay, then we got Mason Rudolph. He just signed a deal 1 year to be the backup in Tennessee. So they're rolling with Will Levis.
Yeah.
And then we talked about Russell Wilson already, and then Joe Flacco. Tyrod Taylor took a 2-year league minimum deal for the Jets to go behind. That's 2 old men.
Yeah,
leading the Jets.
Yep,
good for them. Guys that are still looking for jobs. I guess Jimmy Garoppolo, he got cut, so he's not with the Raiders anymore. Tannehill's still out there. Garoppolo, Bridgewater, Tyler Huntley, Brian Hoyer, Joshua Dobbs, Eaton Stick, Nate Sudfeld, Blaine Gabbert, Carson Wentz, Kyle Allen, Trevor Siemian, AJ McCarron, Matt Barkley, and the rest I've never heard of, so I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah, a lot of them probably won't even make a team.
Exactly. So there's some of the moves and actions that have happened. We talked about the trade. Desmond Ritter's gone out of Atlanta. I don't even know who the backup is now to Kirk Cousins, but they love V.
Yeah.
Let's talk wide receivers. Top of my list, recently signed, Calvin Ridley. 4 years, $92 million with the Tennessee Titans. Is this just where veterans go to die? Because DeAndre Hopkins is there, still under contract. Treylon Burks, I'm guessing, is going to be a complete first-round write-off now. Calvin Ridley is getting paid $50 million in guaranteed. $46.9 million of that at signing.
Yep.
So he's nearly getting $50 million just to sign with the team. Gross.
Yeah. It must be the Elvis music. Everybody wants to go there at the end.
It's just, I get such Kenny Golladay to the Giant vibes out of this.
Yes.
It's concerning. I still think he's good. I still think there's a great chance. It didn't work out in Jacksonville, but going to a quarterback who's far, far worse than Trevor Lawrence, Will Levis has got to throw the ball to, who does he got? Josh Jacobs? Not Josh Jacobs. He's got Tony Pollard as a running back. Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, and Treylon Burks.
Yes. Ridley going to another team as a second wide receiver, I think would have been awesome. He's got it all on his shoulders now. And wow. That's scary.
It is very alarming. I thought the Patriots, you thought Minnesota. Somehow he got paid a large amount of money.
Yes.
At 29 years old.
Yes. They figure he's going to go to 33.
Crazy. So, wish him all the best. Congratulations.
I think Tennessee's going in the wrong direction. The pieces that they've lost and what they're picking up, wrong direction.
Yeah, things that they haven't been able to put back together.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going down this crazy train. Next on my tracking list here, I've got Darnell Mooney, formerly with Chicago, kind of got lost in the shuffle. Signs a 3-year deal with Atlanta for $39 million, $26 million guaranteed. I love the money. I love the contract. I love the player. I think this is going to be absolutely fantastic for him. You might not be a believer in Kirk Cousins, but I think this is going to be a great addition. Between him and Drake London and Kyle Pitts and now Rondale Moore, I think they got a really good wide receiver core. Hopefully he doesn't get lost in the shuffle again. I think he's good enough to garner some targets, be at least a target 2 or target 3 on this team. And to me, it's an affordable contract for a quality wide receiver 2 or worse, right? What do you think?
I had the right division, wrong guy, or because I had said New Orleans is where.
Okay, so right division, wrong team.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what? Again, it's like the deal for the guy, but again, like you said, is there now too many bodies there that have to get satisfied, and he gets forgotten? Somebody's got to step up. Somebody has to step up. It can't be by committee.
No, I do think Drake London will take the largest leap because he's probably the best talent on that team outside of Bijan Robinson. I don't know what Kyle Pitts is going to be able to do because he hasn't been given. He's had a long enough chance to perform and hasn't, and that might be quarterback in system. So
yes,
he could be the number 2. I don't know.
Yeah,
I just like the situation where Darnell Mooney could be the dude. And everywhere where I somehow ended up keeping him, I'm very happy that I've hung on to him because he was I'm not going to get anything in a trade. I might get something now for him in trade. And in fact, I'm on the buying side and saying, you know what, I'm willing to invest and think he comes out as the number 2 target on this team. Kind of like what happened partially with Mac Hollins. He was kind of the wide receiver 2 for a garbage offense.
Yeah.
I think Darnell Mooney is a big step up.
But they also got to keep in mind, Minnesota was a very tight end friendly team, so Pitts could really benefit from Cousins being there. So it's like I said, I think it's a good deal for him. Gives him a chance to get out of that. Well, we're always going to lose mentality with Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe he flourishes. Maybe he does flourish.
I hope so.
Yep.
That was the one I really wanted the most out of. I just wanted him to have a good second chance, and I think he got that.
Sure.
All right, next on my list is Gabriel Davis. Gabe Davis from the Buffalo Bills lands essentially this exact same contract, but this time with Jacksonville. So he's filling in the role of Calvin Ridley?
I guess so.
Okay. Calvin Ridley had opportunities, just couldn't be on the same page with Trevor Lawrence. So if Gabe
Yeah.
Davis gets that, maybe he'll see a higher target per
Maybe.
game instead of like the 0 targets that he was getting in Buffalo towards the end. Maybe he'll get 2 or more.
Yeah. But again, this is one of those situations where I think, hey, your potential talent and your mouth has written the check. Cash it and prove it. I thought when Gabe Davis was needed, I thought he did a really decent job in Buffalo.
When he was needed.
Yes.
He was needed a lot, but they never threw to him. It's like they wrote him out.
But that's what I mean, though. But when they did throw to him, he did a decent job. So I think he could have a really good resurgence there in Jacksonville if he can get on the same page and build some chemistry. He could be fantasy worthy.
Okay.
I thought it was a little bit more money than they should have paid.
Agreed. I would have rather have had
in the 25 mil range.
Yeah, like I would have given Darnell Mooney. That's good money. It's more than I thought he was going to get, but it tells me that they believe and they wanted him.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis is like you got paid more than I think you're worth as well. Like I think you could be a good wide receiver 2 or 3 for a team, but I think you got paid too much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I apologize for the folks. In this case, Michael Thomas was released. I don't think he finds a home. You don't think he finds a home. No. We both said please retire, so hopefully that's the case.
Yeah, I just think his body's just been beat up too much that you got to read the writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Curtis Samuel, formerly of Washington, he signs with Buffalo, $24 million with $8 million or $15 million guaranteed. So it's a 3-year deal. Takes him to his age 30. This is a guy who has been underrated,
yes,
and overused by the teams he's played for.
But he's been very consistent.
He has.
So I this is what I put out into the universe. You gave away a younger Gabe Davis to pick up Curtis Samuel.
Yeah,
that's going to get you pretty much the exact same production. I guess you're going to cost less money. That's where I was going to just say. I guess you save some money by doing this, but is he going to?
They needed.
Is he going to help the team more than Davis would have?
Yes, I think he's going to be better for the team than Gabe Davis based upon his previous production.
Okay.
The team was also against the cap like major, and they had to purge so much talent off that team. So this was a good signing. Decent cash, but not a lot of cash. It's not going to hurt their cap space. So good for them. This next guy, however, is a cool. Good for you. Devin. Oh, is it Devin Duvernay I'm talking about. Devin Duvernay signs a no. Devin Duvernay, 2-year Jacksonville, $8.5 million.
That's a steal.
So they signed another. Yeah, he's a special teamer. Didn't get anything done in Baltimore because they weren't a passing offense. So maybe he has a chance to resurrect something, but they still have other talent on the team. So I don't know how he rises on the depth chart, but wish him the best of luck.
You know what? I think the talent is there that he can climb the roster. Becomes the third guy, the third, maybe even the second. I'll throw that out there. But I think it's a steal of a deal, even just from the standpoint of, like you said, the special teams talent.
Yeah, I think he's a talented enough player to deserve a roster spot.
Yeah.
So the fact that he did.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Did I miss this?
Which?
Keenan Allen has been traded to the Bears.
That must have just happened today.
I think that just happened. Oh my goodness!
Mike is giving us live feeds.
The Chargers are trading Keenan Allen Pardon?
Mike is giving us live updates.
Yeah, here we go, folks. Okay, breaking. The Chargers are trading wide receiver Keenan Allen to the Bears for a 4th-round pick. Gone. This is also after they just chopped Mike Williams from the roster, so he's out in the waivers. And then this just in, folks. Marquise Hollywood Brown just signed a 1-year deal with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Wow. See, and the rumor earlier today, and I even wrote it into our doc here, they were going to go after Boyd.
I liked that. I think that's a great opportunity for.
But even Brown, that's a good pickup for the Chiefs. That gives him some stability. A guy who's not going to drop the ball like Tony. I saw your post there on our message board, and I was going to put no, he'd get fired for dropping the fries all the time. Yeah,
that's good. Yeah, he's going to get in trouble. In case you're asking or wondering, folks, I posted a meme of Kadarius Toney signs with McDonald's.
Yeah.
Sorry, that might have been mean, but
yeah.
Tyler Lockett.
Wow.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let's get through this real quick here, then, and we'll talk about that. So, continuing down with the wide receivers here, Devontae Parker signs a 1-year deal with Philly. Noah Brown re-ups with Houston. That's what you expected him to do. I think that really helps them out. Brandon Powell gets a 1-year deal in Minnesota worth $2 million. Jalen Reagor signs in New England for a 1-year deal. Nothing special there. And then there's some just random garbage. Jamison Crowder to Washington for 1-year league minimum. Mac Hollins to Buffalo 1-year league minimum. So not a lot of big money deals. Players that are still out there: Mike Williams, Hunter Renfrow. I would love to see the Lions go and get Hunter Renfrow. I think this is a really good possession dude that could do well on the team. Kind of that Josh Reynolds. Don't make those 2 drops in that playoff game, and we would be in the Super Bowl kind of position. I think that could really work out. But
I think Hunter Renfrow though. I think his best years are behind him.
Maybe. But he's also younger than Josh Reynolds.
True.
So he might have a couple more years longer than him. But I liked him. He had 1 great year and then disappeared because Jacoby Myers took his job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here you go. DK Chark, I could see him in Detroit.
He was already there. They never brought him back. They let him go.
Oh.
Yeah. He had an injury riddled season, so he didn't perform that well. And when free agency came, they didn't bring him back.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm okay. I'm all right with that. But yeah, there are some talented wide receivers that will get jobs. If Keenan Allen to the Bears blows my mind. So DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, they're going to try and load up and get Caleb Williams ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And they better be using the rest of their draft picks to get decent offensive linemen to keep that boy alive.
To protect him?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So the NFC North is going to be interesting. Looks like the Minnesota Vikings are on the downward spiral with Sam Darnold at QB.
Yep.
And the Bears are going to make a big push. Awesome. And those are kind of the highlights of
for the wide receivers. Yeah.
Of the wide receivers. There were some trades. Jerry Jeudy was traded to Cleveland for a 5th and a 6th. Great deal. I think that's great for Cleveland. Deontay Johnson was traded to Carolina. I hope that works out for Bryce Young. He did make Adam Thielen relevant for half a year.
Yeah.
So maybe something good can happen out of that. And then we just mentioned earlier, Rondell Moore traded to Atlanta. Yeah. And now Keenan Allen traded to the Bears. Mike Williams was cut. So there's lots of options for wide receivers out there. Let's see how that plays out. And there's still a good long chunk before free agency is over.
True.
You ready to get into the running backs?
Yes, sir. These ones are the ones that are blowing my mind.
The magical chairs here, right?
No kidding. And the money that's being thrown around. How do you say they're being undervalued right now?
Oh, okay. Let's look at the money. Highest contract is Josh Jacobs. Signs with Green Bay. He got the exact same deal that Aaron Jones had, which they also cut, and he signed with Minnesota, but we'll get to that. So Josh Jacobs signs a 4-year deal. Now let's explain this deal. It's a 1-year deal. Spread over it's 1 year spread over 4. He gets $12.5 million guaranteed, and then the team has 3 years of optional contracts. So if they don't like what's going on, they can bail and it doesn't hurt the cap. It doesn't hurt the team. This is a very team friendly deal.
So so you said 12, right?
It's $48 million.
Yeah, divided by
$12 a year average. He's only guaranteed 12.5 though.
Okay,
he's only guaranteed 1 year. The remaining 3 years are optional.
Yeah, but then wouldn't Barkley's be higher at 37.7 divided by 3? He'd be
12.583.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has a larger average with a larger guarantee.
Yeah.
But overall potential of the contract in this case, how this is being my tracker is tracking.
Sure. Okay.
So I'm happy with the move. I thought Aaron Jones was good enough for the team.
So did I.
Sad that he got pushed out in rooms for Josh Jacobs. So good. Hopefully it works out. I'm happy for him. Let's talk about Josh Jacobs real quick. Or not Josh Jacobs. Let's talk about Aaron Jones. Where's his deal? Aaron Jones signs a 1-year, $7 million not guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. He's going to a team with the crappy quarterback, but I still think he's going to be one of the best players on that team. Him and Justin Jefferson, they should still remain fantasy relevant.
Yes. Yes. And he did a decent job in Green Bay. So
yeah. Just didn't have as injuries, kept him off the field, but when he was on, he performed.
Yeah.
Now, A.J. Dillon re-signed with the Green Bay Packers after they signed Josh Jacobs. He's back on a 1-year deal worth $2.7 million.
Yeah. So I guess he's happy just being the backup.
Happy. Yep. There we go. Now let's talk about the real money deals. This one, Saquon Barkley, 3 years in Philadelphia, crushing the hearts of Giants fans everywhere. He gets $12.5 million a year, $26 million guaranteed. It's really a 2-year deal because after 2 years the team can get out of it. But good for him. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Let's see what he does with this team.
This is going to be huge for Philadelphia, I think.
Yeah.
I'd be more scared than I was before to be in that division. Because him running the ball takes off some pressure off Jalen Hurts from running so much. We all saw Jalen Hurts getting hurt at the end of the year last year, and that really affected the team, and hurt them down the stretch. Him taking off some of that pressure is going to be huge for that team, especially in the second half of the year. You got a bit of a fresher. You got a fresher Jalen Hurts, chucking the ball down the field, and if he has to run it in from the 5, run it in from the 5. Let Barkley do the
grunt work.
The 5 from the 5 yard to the 5 yard mark. Let him do all that, and then
no more tush push. Give it to Barkley.
Well, Barkley will just jump over the line. Don't need to push him from behind.
No. I wonder if this makes A.J. Brown happy. It's like, probably. We got a quality running back right here. Throw the ball, run it in at the end, but throw me the ball to get us downfield.
Yes. Yes, and I think it's a situation like Barkley was a pretty decent blocking back as well, or
Yep.
is a pretty good blocking back as well. So, him protecting, maybe Jalen Hurts doesn't have to just automatically take off and run because now I got somebody to help block for me. So this one, I think that this is a scary one. He had a bounce back year this year. He could have a really big bounce back year next year.
I think it's gonna be great.
Yes.
I'm glad I own him in at least one league.
Yeah, I have him in one of my leagues too, and it's
good. All right, let's keep moving here.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift, never thought he'd get a deal. Never thought he would get paid this much. He gets a 3-year deal in Chicago, $24 million with $50 million guaranteed. Congratulations, former Lion.
Yep.
Resurrected his career, thought he was dead. For those that invested into DeAndre Swift, and I'm going to give a shout out to our league mate who did exactly that this past year. Going into the playoffs, I believe. I could be wrong. I thought it was Chervin. Looks like it might be. It was Bryce. Bryce picked up DeAndre Swift for I forget. Let's go back and look at that trade log. But when I saw that deal, I'm like, are you serious? You sent a 2024 first to Gabriel for DeAndre Swift. And I think that is money well spent.
Now it is.
I think having DeAndre Swift, you got a good year out of him in Philly, and now he's got a long-term, I'm the starter in Chicago on a team that's about to make their push to come back. So congratulations, buddy. You picked up an absolute gem there. And not only that, I'm going to point out he's got Aaron Jones, James Cook, Devon Achane, and DeAndre Swift. So he's doing okay at running back.
Yeah.
Feeling good.
Yeah. I like that deal. I think it's going to pay dividends. The Chicago is a team that's going to turn some heads next year.
I don't want to lose to Chicago as a Lions fan. I don't.
I don't think they're there yet. I don't think they're there yet this year. I
certainly hope not.
Not this year. Okay. I would say it 2 years. They get their quarterback in place this year. Get him some seasoning. 2 years down the road, Chicago could be very competitive.
Let's just hope they implode instead. Good for fantasy, bad for football.
Yes.
Tony Pollard. I want to talk about this. From Dallas to Tennessee, he got the bag here, so to speak. He got a 3-year, $21 million deal, $10 million guaranteed. It's really a 2-year deal. He can get out. The team can get out of it. I think this is where Tony Pollard goes to die. I don't think the team is going to be good enough.
You're right.
I don't think Tony Pollard is good enough to overcome the obstacles that the team is going to present him.
Yeah.
I am not holding out hope.
He was supposed to be the next Elliott in Dallas. Couldn't cut the mustard. Now they're bringing him in to be the next Henry. Not going to happen. Not going to happen.
No. Wah, wah, wah. Not going to happen.
Speaking of Henry going to Baltimore,
2 years, $9 million guaranteed, $16 million over 2. Really, it's a 1-year deal.
That scares the poop out of me. From being as a Bengal, yes,
yeah.
That team was so good at running to begin with, and now Lamar Jackson can just stand back. Here,
he doesn't have to run. He can scramble when he wants to.
Derek, go get me to the 1-yard line so I can just reach over the goal line and score and get the touchdown.
Then push me in.
Yes, and Derrick Henry's probably going to be saying, "No problem, get me my Super Bowl ring. I will do that for the last 2 years of my career. I don't care. We were supposed to do that in Tennessee. And we couldn't get over the hump. I'm now on a team that can get me there."
Yeah.
That scares the heck out of me.
It's great for fantasy. I only own him in one league. It happens to be the same league where I own 6 of these running backs. 6 of these running backs that got deals that became relevant.
Yeah.
I'm like, I went from having a bunch of aging, I'm not really sure how this is going to play out, and they all got big, relatively decent contracts to saying they're going to have opportunity. It's fantastic.
Yep.
We skipped a guy that I did want to talk about, Devin Singletary, another surprise deal for me. Yeah. I didn't think he'd get a contract like this. The New York Giants, 3 years, $16.5 million with 9.5 guaranteed. It's really a 2-year deal, but they just paid him to be the starter. Do you think that sticks? Do you think he stays as the starter, or are they going to draft somebody?
I think they don't draft somebody this year. I think they're throwing it out there to say, Singletary, this is your do or die. Step up, or we'll get somebody next year.
Right, would you trust him as a starting running back for the New York Giants?
Oh my gosh. Not when you had Barkley. That's the thing that kills me.
It's a massive downgrade. I get that.
It is. But
he was fantastic for Houston.
He was fantastic in Buffalo when he was the only thing in Buffalo. I think there's too much wear and tear on him. I have him in a couple of leagues.
Okay.
And I was happy with him last year in Houston. But that much money, no. I don't think he can sustain the whole year.
All right, well, let's keep moving then. Antonio Gibson leaves Washington for New England on a 3-year, $11.25 million deal, which is really just a 1-year deal for $5 million.
Yeah, New England is the place running backs go to die. Because there's 42 of them in the locker room.
Sure, I like this deal. I like the spot. I like everything about it. I do not feel threatened for Ramondre Stevenson. If I'm a Ramondre Stevenson owner, I'm still feeling good. I'm happy that Antonio Gibson was the back they picked up because he's not a first or second down back. He's a passing down back, change of pace.
If you're a Gibson owner, though, are you happy?
Yeah, because he got a job. Because I didn't think he was going to get one.
I suppose, yeah.
And now I know, or at least I think I know, where he's going to fit in the world. He's going to be the pass-catching James White-esque type of role. Ramondre Stevenson's going to be really good at everything, and Antonio Gibson's going to give him a breather.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Austin Eckler, Washington, signs him for 2 years, $8 million, $4 million guaranteed. It's really a 1-year deal. He's going there to help out Brian Robinson. So if you're a Brian Robinson owner, it looks scary because of a big name coming in, but I still think it's Brian Robinson's team. He's going to do his thing. Austin Eckler's there just to help out.
Sure. From that perspective, a little bit too much money, I think, then.
$4 million?
You have down here $11 million for Eckler.
He has a contract that's worth upwards of $11 million.
Oh.
But it's only guaranteed $4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
My spreadsheet doesn't have enough space to put all of the information. So I'm referencing a secondary document with expanded information.
Okay. Well, then it's a team friendly deal.
It is.
You know what? And if the guy is just, even if you have him as your third down back, catching the ball out of the backfield, and if he can stay healthy, maybe it's good. I just don't like the team. The team's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think they're. Let's see what quarterback they get and see what happens.
Yeah,
but I'm not. We're not overly excited.
Yeah.
These next couple options are going to be interesting to talk about. DJ Dallas, formerly of Seattle, signs a 3-year, $8 million deal, which is only $2 million of real money guaranteed, to be the backup in Arizona, which means James Conner is still the guy.
I guess so. You heard me last week. I said somebody should be going to Atlanta to take away the job. Who did
Arizona?
Yeah. I can't remember who I'd said to the Cardinals. I said Josh No, I had said Josh Jacobs go to the Cardinals to steal it from Connor. I guess they're staying with him. I still don't like him there, but what have you? I don't know.
I think that's great for them. It's a team like he's just a backup role. I just make me feel comfortable about James Conner, who I own in poor man. So I'm happy that like, okay, you know what? I have a potential starter, and he did relatively well for a crappy team in Arizona last year. So I think he'll repeat it with some consistency.
Sure.
All right, Zach Moss signs a 2-year deal, $8 million, only $3 million guaranteed. So not a high paying deal for the Bengals. As such, they trade Joe Mixon to Houston. Which do you want to give your take right now? Tell us about Joe Mixon in Houston. We'll come back to Zach Moss.
You know, I great on you, Houston. Great on you. You just got a workhorse. You know, from a Houston stat, I have Mixon in poor man. That's a great deal for them. Zach Moss, I think I have him in 2 other leagues, so I'm happy for it. He'll be the guy there.
Do you think he stays the starter? Or do you think this is a small enough deal that they still might draft somebody that he's going to have to compete against?
Could be. You're right.
It's not a lot of money.
No, you're right. And they, and you know, I know they've been saying for the last 2 years Mixon is going to be a casualty because of cap.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I've always been a fan of Moss. And we'll see. I think he'll do okay. I think they're both where they landed. They're both going to do okay.
All right. So that takes care of Zach Moss. Aaron Jones, we talked about, 1-year deal, Minnesota. Gus Edwards signs a 2-year deal for the Los Angeles Chargers. It's really $3 million guaranteed. It's a 1-year deal. What is Harbaugh doing? To me, this screams you acquired a 29 to 30-year-old running back for not a lot of money. Not a lot of money. It's a 1-year deal. You lost Austin Eckler. You weren't going to bring him back. There's not a lot of depth. You must be drafting.
Yes.
Must be.
And yes.
Do you think he's going Blake Corum?
That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm wondering if he's going to go after his boys.
Cool. Like reunite the national champions at the NFL level. Fantastic.
Yes. Take Corum this year. Take Edwards next year. Ooh. There's your backfield. Because the excuse that he can use is, I am cleaning house so I can build my team.
Sure.
Just like he did.
Well, he better go and draft some other Wolverines and this.
Just like he did in Michigan. It took him 4 or 5 years, and eventually he said, "You know what? Those guys are all gone. The guys that I didn't pick are gone now. And now look at the team that I built the last 3 years.
That I recruited.
Yeah. I built my team. Go after JJ McCarthy and go after Blake Corum.
Oh. Okay. No. Do not do that to JJ McCarthy. Let him go play football somewhere else.
Yeah.
Don't do that to Justin Herbert. You've got a quality quarterback.
I know.
All right.
But
let's wrap this up.
Wouldn't that be something if he did draft both those guys this year? Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to send you a link in the chat here that if you could pull up, we'll talk about this next. Where is that chat here in this window? Where is everyone? Everyone chat. Click, link, boom, done. If you could pull that up, don't say anything yet. We'll talk about it in a second. I'm just going to round out running backs. Salvin Ahmed re-signed with Miami, 1-year deal, $1 million. What else we got here? Naheem Hines, Ernest Johnson, Chase Edmonds, all got 1-year league minimum deals. Players that are still out there that could land jobs. Cordell Patterson, for somehow, is at the top of this list. I don't think that happens. Alexander Madison, I think everybody knows what's going on there. Nothing. Zeke is still out there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is still out there. Dante Foreman, Boston Scott, Damian Harris, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Matt Breida, Kareem Hunt, Rashad Penny, Latavius Murray, Jerick McKinnon. Those are kind of the names of note that are still available as veteran experienced running backs. Some interesting options. Now,
nothing's coming.
We've talked about wide receivers. We've talked about quarterbacks. We've talked about running backs. The running back was probably the most wild and electric transitional signings, the whole bit. It was just wild, very exciting. Love how that happened this year. Last thing we're going to talk about before we say goodnight, tight ends. Do you have the document in front of you?
No, it's not. Nothing's come through in Poor Man.
It's not in Poor Man. It's in the Riverside chat.
Oh, it's in. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Chat.
Yeah, bottom right corner, little bubble. See the link?
Just pulling it up now.
Okay, so this is where I've been gathering, not revealing secrets, the information and regarding to contracts and who signed. For the most part, I haven't really wanted to look at tight ends, but there's been enough activity to like, all right, well, what does this mean? Because there's some guys that did sign, like Dalton Schultz. Love the deal. Love that he stayed in Houston. But there's, what are you seeing?
The guy first on the list. The first.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I want to talk about.
Who the hell is he?
Exactly. We probably have to call Corey Bittner to get some details on this dude because he's a former Seattle Seahawk. Colby Parkinson signed a 3-year deal with the Los Angeles Rams, a division rival, for $22.5 million with $15.5 million guaranteed. What did he do in Seattle that garnered some attention? Like, I'm not sure exactly what this means for football. Like, is he just a really good tight end that doesn't catch? Like, he's a good, like, offensive lineman tight end, like blocking? But he just got paid. And only that, look at the second guy on the list.
Yeah.
Noah Fant just got a $21 million raise by the Seattle Seahawks. So they let Colby Parkinson
I am in shock and awe.
But they just paid Noah Fant. Look at the third guy on the list.
Yeah.
Former Seattle Seahawk. What's going up in Seattle where they're getting all these high-paid tight ends? Will Dissly just signed with the Los Angeles Chargers for 3 years, $14 million with $10 million guaranteed.
Wow.
What are they doing to their tight ends up in Seattle that they're pumping these guys out and getting
Warner?
them paid?
Who's this Charlie Woner guy?
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea. But he got paid $12 million for under 3-year deal to go be the backup tight end in Atlanta. You're not taking the job from Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. So what's with all that cash?
Okay, I have no idea, but they're paying tight ends. Now there are a few guys I want to highlight here. Gerald Everett left the Chargers to go to Chicago. 2 years, $12 million. Cole Kmet is still their number one.
Yep.
Jonnu Smith left Atlanta after an amazing year to go to Miami, who doesn't have a pass-catching tight end. So for those out there that own Jonnu Smith or he's out on your waivers and you have the ability, that's a guy you might want to just spend $1 or $2 on.
Yeah.
They paid him 8.4 over 2 years, roughly $4 million a year.
I think the biggest
Harrison
steal.
Bryant, formerly of Cleveland, goes to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Mike Gesicki, Cincinnati, 1 year, $2.5 million. Guaranteed only $400,000.
Yeah.
Irv
I think
Smith, this means nothing. 1-year deal, Kansas City.
But I think the steal of it was that Tyler Davis staying in Green Bay for just over $1 million. That's a steal for them.
Sure.
Again,
they also have Luke Musgrave and Tyler Kraft.
Yeah. But he's still it's a relatively young team, right? So he could be there for a few years.
True. Yeah, and he's a young tight end, 26, 27-ish. Austin Hooper signs a 1-year deal in New England, so he's there with Hunter Henry, who re-upped with the team. And then there's a bevy of guys that we've all heard about on this list. Mercedes Lewis is still listed as a potential signing. That's not happening. 39
at 39.
Lewis. No way.
Or even Jimmy Graham at 37. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, okay, not happening. But yeah, that's those are the signings. I'm happy with what happened. A lot of things, several surprises, particularly in the running back situation. We have seen a massive decline in the investment in running backs, and I don't think this year was much different, except there was a little bit of extra money given. Not a lot. Nobody's breaking the bank. No one's getting like big, ridiculous deals, but they got I think respectable money this year.
Yes. Yeah. It was a little bit of a bounce back for some of them, right? Guys like you look at guys like Barkley, who New York said, yeah, I don't think you're worth that money, but Philadelphia thinks you're worth that money. A division rival thinks you're worth that money.
Ran the ball down their throat. Yeah,
exactly. Josh Jacobs, no, you're just a franchise tag guy. We don't want to give you the money, but yet Green Bay thinks he's worth the money, right? So some of these guys, I think are going to be worth the cash. We'll see what happens. Maybe this will help out the running back position over the next few years.
Hopefully. Okay, let's wrap this up and say goodnight to our friends. Thank you very much for joining us. 3 questions. You said after 3 days of players moving around, is there a team that now impresses you enough to say they were bottom feeders before and now a contender? And my answer is yes, I have a team.
Who's that?
The Atlanta Falcons. I think they made enough splashes, like respectable splashes, not just like, wow, you spent a lot of money. Because if that's the case, then Tennessee spent a lot of money. I don't think they're going to get return on investment. No. I think Atlanta will. I think they have acquired talent and paid them well, but not except in Kirk Cousins' case. He got paid a lot. Yeah. But I think they're probably going to be a real contending playoff team this year.
Mine, I'm going to have to go to, and it's not, the dividends aren't going to pay off this year. I think it'll be the next year and the year after, is the Bears. I think they're starting to get I think they're getting the right pieces in place. They're getting the right pieces in place to start making their run. And
no, good choice, good choice.
And then my number 2 would have been Baltimore. They didn't make a lot of moves.
No, not a lot.
But they did
one
really
help
good
move.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Next question. Are there any players that moved that you look at and say, what the heck were they thinking?
You know mine already.
I don't actually. I'm not sure where this would
Kirk
be.
Cousins is going to Atlanta.
Okay. They're Kirk Cousins. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours is Kirk Cousins. Mine is wide receiver Calvin Ridley.
Sure.
Like, do you really think that type of money investment is going to pay off? And I think you overpaid, and it's going to hurt you. Okay, last question. Are there any players that have not moved that you are thinking, why did he not get picked up or traded yet? And yeah, there's actually a few players that have come to mind. Tyler Boyd's my first.
Yeah, that was probably mine.
And Marquise Brown. What are we?
But didn't you just say he just got
outsiders?
Didn't you just say he got
1-year deal? If you have a young, what should be a relatively stud wide receiver, why
you should have signed him
to
more
a
than
1-year deal.
Yeah, but again, it could be one of these things where, dude, your mouth is running. Show me, and then next year we'll sign you to a longer deal.
Okay, maybe that's the case. That's the case. But when I see a 1-year deal like this, to me it says you don't fully trust or believe in this guy.
Yeah.
And there's something that you're hesitant about. Otherwise, you would have given him a Calvin Ridley-like deal or a Michael Pittman-like deal. You would have paid him. Heck, you could have given him a Darnell Mooney-like deal. You could have had Darnell Mooney, but you didn't. Instead, you gave this guy a 1-year deal, details to follow.
Yeah. I do think, though, that the one guy that hasn't either been moved or been paid, Boyd.
I liked him as a wide receiver. I think he did great. He was behind 2 great receivers.
Yes.
He performed every time he was asked to do so.
Exactly. He was the most consistent on the team because of injuries and because of the way the team went. The way the team went last year, he was more consistent than anybody else, I think. So,
yeah, man. Okay, well, that's it for this week, folks. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Hopefully you liked the show. If you did, great. Let us know. Write us a review. Hit us up. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, because now this is a video chat, so you can see our smiling, happy faces and how bald we are and how much facial hair we get to grow on a daily. Yeah, that kind of stuff. When we get back together a week from now, back on a Wednesday night, so it's coming. Don't worry, folks. We'll get back on schedule. There's not that many hockey games I get to go to. And when we do, we're going to be opening things up. In years past, at this time of year, we find interesting things to talk about during the off season. Historically, we have done a get to know your league mate. Well, we've gotten to know our league mates quite a bit, and we're going to change it up this year. So starting next week, March 20th, we're going to be doing a positional review. We're going to be breaking down each of these positions. Now that we know more, all that's left that stands in our way is really the rookie draft. But as of right now, we know a good chunk of where the veterans sit. And we're going to have in-depth conversations where, hey, is this guy going to keep his job? Is he expected to be usurped by somebody from the draft? And that's going to start off with the AFC quarterback position. So that's what we're going to talk about starting next week, March 20th. Come on back. You're going to hear our poor man take on the most important position in all of sports.
Yeah.
Should be fun. Well, thank you for joining us. Glad that you were here. From one poor man to another. Remember, if it's not fun, it is not worth doing. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week, everybody.